What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Tree Chanel. I'm checking in with Black Atmosphere and Company's mental health space. You guys, can you believe we're on episode 4 already? So you know the drill. You gotta go get your popcorn, sit on that couch, and grab the remote control because you are in control of your destiny. That's why this podcast exists. At this point in your life, you probably have so many questions that's in your mind, and you can't find research on it because a lot of it is hidden information from our people. That's why the mental health space exists, because I had a lot of questions and I really could not find the answers. And I thought that was pretty unfair for me to be living in a world where I am knowing myself. I know myself, but there's things that I'm uncovering within my DNA, within my history, my ancestors. So we really are going to get into a lot of things. Our special guest today is Miss Taty from Mental Health Meets Hip Hop. This disclaimer is brought to you by Black Atmosphere and Company. We are a safe space for entrepreneurs to speak about social issues that may affect their mental health. We are simply here to help our community and business and the economical structure. We have to start from the roots of our problem to find better solutions. Black Atmosphere and Company's 8 Pillars of Life is designed to help our members and listeners get through these issues together. So we are not a mental health facility, healthcare provider. We are entrepreneurs helping one another in our journeys. All right, what's up, Miss Taty? We got Miss Taty in the building. Welcome to Black Atmosphere and Company's mental health space. Yo, I just want you to introduce yourself to the people, and we're gonna get right into it.
Okay, what's up? What's up, everybody? This is Miss Taty, MC.Taty. I'm a hip hop artist, mental health professional, mental health advocate, overall businesswoman, and I'm here to spread love to the people and information.
This is extremely important subject on all pillars of hip hop and even in our community and what we're going through in these times of recession, COVID, the pandemic, and moving forward in our lives with that. You're in the music. How long have you been a hip hop artist?
So I've been a hip hop artist for all my life. I want to say that.
Wow.
I'm not gonna put a date on it because I'll be
Okay.
telling my age. But I started making music at about 8 years old.
Wow.
Yep. Started making music at 8. I had a cousin that died by suicide. I didn't have an
Oh,
outlet as far as therapy. So I began writing music, started performing, in grammar school. And then from there, I did shows, opened up for Lil Wayne, Sorry for the Wait 2 tour. I did shows all throughout United States, Michigan, Iowa, Atlanta, Chicago. I was able to also showcase some of my skills in Ghana, Africa. So it's been a
that's
journey.
love. I see you doing big things. Now, I met Miss Tati at the Oasis Rebuild with Revolt. And she was there in the booth, and I was actually talking to 19 Keys at the time. And I was like, yo, it's crazy because I seen the alignment in our movement. I'm just really getting started because I started out in fashion in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we was serving and slaying and getting these garments out, and I was doing a lot of things in the industry, and I was like, yo, it's something missing. So when I saw you at that booth, I knew our paths would eventually cross, and I'm so happy that we are, and it's just the beginning of what we are going to accomplish this year, and thus far more outside. We just gonna go crazy. um so talk a little bit about that Ghana experience. Like that's super dope. Like let's not sleep on that. So um mental health meets hip hop. You guys were in Ghana. What did you guys do while you were in Ghana?
So we teamed up with the Dorothy Genius Foundation. Dorothy Genius is the youngest American here, 16 years old with a PhD. She have a STEAM program, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. We went there with her as the art part. So we went out there to Ghana, Africa. They're, building some schools that, in Ghana, Africa. Shout out to the University of Sustainability and Development. We were able to break our workshops out there in that school. The school loved it. We actually ran our mental mindfulness workshop on a 3-day curriculum, and the children was excited. Hip hop is a universal language, is loved everywhere, and just to see how we paired it with mental health and how we were able to look at the limbic part of the brain and how hip hop is very cohesive with the thought process, not just here in the Americas, but throughout the world. So they loved it.
I saw the pictures and I was just amazed, and I was like, yo, I want to do dope shit like this. You feel me? Like that, it is not just about doing that, it's about the experience. Like for me in this very moment, because during the pandemic, I'm gonna run you. I was diagnosed with, of course, like, depression, but I was like, yo, I was really suffering because I wasn't around my family and it was just me in this damn apartment stuck, during the pandemic. So
Mm-hmm.
I like really went through it. Like I wasn't like suicidal, but there are people that were. But I was like, it just made me reflect on what was happening. And then being diagnosed, I had an eye injury. I suffered a really bad eye injury where it just left my neurology just shot. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not that I want to have this mental health issue. It's like I can't control certain things, but I refuse to let it give life or birth life into me to ruin me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I let my light, be that. But it's a heavy, it's not a burden, but it's a heavy job to having a lot of people, crumble underneath that. And that's why I felt like it was time for me to come out of hiding and to really start this, so we can raise awareness that you are not alone in this space. You are not alone, whether it's hip hop, whether it's just in your everyday life. We want to shed light and be a outlet for you to safely voice your opinions about social issues that's happening in here. It's just everywhere, I should say. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
really get into the hip hop. What
Mm-hmm.
has been the biggest, I don't want to say downfall, but what has been the biggest issue you've seen in the hip hop community and the mental health?
First and foremost, I want to give you positive energy. I think it's a big step for you to, be open with your diagnosis and things like that. So good, I just want to send you positive energy with that and just let you
Thank
know
you.
whatever you're going through, you can get through.
Thank you.
So one of the biggest things that I see in hip hop with mental health is that just as a community, we don't really have an understanding of how important music is, right? On a biological level, meaning with just how music affects the science of the mind. How music also affects the frequency. I mean, we all are energy beings, but how music and rap today has kind of shaped the culture of our communities. Um, a lot of people like to, look past it, but I mean, when you're able to see it on a boots on the ground level, you can see how just some of the music, the drill music, and I don't want to call that a specific genre of rap, but how it has really changed the culture and the outlook of the communities. I mean, violence is all around. I'm from Chicago, the West Side, and I just see how the destruction in our music and lyrics has played a major part in the thought processes of individuals in these areas.
Especially men, especially young boys.
Hmm.
Um, like we're losing our black men, and that's why I had to step in, because like, not saying it like that, but I have nephews and I have, what I'm saying, kids that I eventually will want to raise, and I don't want them to have to be living in that type of environment. we have to clean up our environment just like they clean up the ocean. You got to go clean up your neighborhoods. If you know that you've caused damage and put poison into the well, you got to go clean that shit up. And like, there's no excuse. I don't care who you are, you have to. So I really, like, just, I'm very vocal about that because I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen what it's done to the peer pressures of young boys, and them being peer pressured into doing things that they don't necessarily want to do because they feel like they have to for survival. And it's like, well, when do we begin to draw the line? you know I
Exactly.
call it redlining of the mind. That, like, there's so much redlining of the mind. You'd be like, well, what does that really mean? That means that they are mentally in chains and they're being prosecuted for certain things, and it's just not okay. It's not okay for us to continue to put mental chains on these black men and women, but on black men particularly, because they're the head of households.
Mm-hmm.
And the drugs, and it's just really deteriorating our community. But that's why I was at the Oasis rebuilding. That's how we met, because I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what we doing? But we really
Exactly.
pulling up. I see us pulling up, and I see us addressing the problems. Like, women like us, we're addressing the problem because sometimes you need healthy allies to get you through.
Mm-hmm.
You need healthy allies to get push you through that space. So I definitely understand what you're saying about the drill music.
Mm-hmm.
I love them all, but there's a balance. It needs to be a
Mm-hmm.
balance. So
Yeah.
what do you feel like the balance needs to happen in our community in Chicago? Definitely in Chicago, especially in the music scene. It's very dry right now. It's very
Mm-hmm.
it's very dead. Like, would you agree? Like, I'm really seeing, like, it's weird. It's a weird time. I don't know. And I've been
Yeah.
I've been loving
Mm.
music my whole life, But
Right. Right. And then again too, I mentioned the drill, but I don't want to demonize, anybody's
yeah, it's just
experience as far
yeah.
as what they, looking at in their communities. It's especially a voice for what's going on in a lot of these communities. But I
Yeah,
think starting
it
off with
is.
having a conversation and being able to get the community to see what's real and what's not real.
Was
I think
not real. Yep.
I think a lot of people are so entranced by media and by music that you will see a lot of people that are living in communities that's not even from their lifestyle, right? But they
Yeah.
may portray that to fit an image or to fit in with different individuals. And I think just having a conversation around it, and then especially talking to youth, young adults, and even older adults, and coming to a basis of where we can talk about the sustainability and development of our people. I think a lot of conversations is just really not, head around that. How can we sustain and develop uh, our people? How can we sustain and develop Black people, and specifically, what are the conversations around this? What can we do on a mental level? Because we know if the man is not right, everything else is not right. And then
Come on.
when you look at media, and you start to see who own a lot of media platforms,
Baby.
it's in spaces where they're shaping and programming a certain look. So when you
Nice.
have a certain look in the media, you
Hmm.
have people on the outside looking for something to identify with, but the things that we're shown is not always true in fact of who we are as a people. So just having a conversation and speaking to people is where we started, but also having a sustainability and development plan to move us forward and not keep us stagnant or set us back.
Lord, come on, word. Come on, universe. Speak to it. That's the because this was necessary. This conversation was so necessary. That's the sustainability. So
Mhm.
how we got to make a plan, and we got to stick to the plan. We have to learn that your brothers and your sisters are not your enemies. Those are your allies, healthy allies, not ops. So you know what I'm saying? We throw the word op around so damn much. I be like, man, look,
So much,
I'm not
so
your
much.
op, bro. We can be opposites. There's nothing wrong with opposites. When did we like demonize or like make a negative of being opposite? You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta know the terminology, and everything ain't that. It's not always that. So I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Man, that was a point.
Yeah.
Now
And
I
just to add to that, I'm sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
you good. This is what we want. We need that.
And just to add to that, any times at war, right? If you look at the historical, just the historical history of different wars, anytime it's a war waged on a people or a nation, it's always, different people in media showing you, kind of demonizing, degradation, like degrade, looks and ways of a people that it's a war on. And if you look at, how they displayed our people in the 60s versus now, it's like, what kind of went on, So I'm coming from that standpoint. Yep, that's all I got about
I feel you.
that.
Like, look, no shade to the shade room and all those people. You know what I'm saying? But we need healthier outlets where we are in the masses. You see what I'm
Mhm,
saying? That people like us need to be in the masses, and so we can have the healthy balance, so they can get the entertainment, because they don't really realize that that's entertainment. They get paid to entertain you and to make a fool out of themselves and to do dumb shit. That's what
mhm,
they're getting paid for.
mhm.
So when do we be like, everything is not what it seems to be? They're cutting checks, okay, to these people to entertain you. So don't get it twisted, you know. But everything is not always have to be based around character and villains, and all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then it's like too, why we gotta see us, the ones that's taking the checks and
come
doing
on,
some of
like
the most
that,
demeaning
like,
stuff. It's like, come
bro,
on
like
now.
I'm tired. You be like, I'm just tired. I don't know what to do anymore. I love my culture, but I
Hmm.
am not in love with the way we are moving as a whole in our community and our, like, because culture is being thrown around so much, we don't even know what our culture really is. I hate to say it, I'm saying, and for the younger generation, because we're losing so much in translation of how a lot of this started in the first place, why it started. But it's up to us to educate them. It's up to us to continue to put the real out there so they can also know that exists. Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta ask you too. Now, you talk about cultural equity. What is cultural equity in your company? Because I was very intrigued by that.
So cultural equity is pretty much who you are and what do you value, right? Because we can group everybody together by skin color and say, well, this is black culture, this is what we align with, but we also have to think that just because people look like you, they don't value the same things. So cultural equity is pretty much what do you value and how can we align with what you value to walk down this journey of recovery with mental health. How can we do that? And recovery and mental health is not necessarily, like the medical model where you fall down and break your arm. But look, you may be, going through some things mentally. How can we walk down with you to your journey to help you see a different path or weigh your options with what you have going on? And we want to start with you. What do you value? Who are you? Without looking at other things that may be going on and what we consider as, our culture, but who are you? What's
Yeah.
different about you, right? So that's what cultural equity means. Yep.
Now, I also like that you have this hip hop workbook. Speak a little bit about the hip hop workbook, and then you can let them know how they can get it. I'll definitely tag it on there and let people know, because I thought this was pretty dope. Um, it's
Thank
necessary.
thank you so much. So the Mental Health Meets Hip Hop Journal, it's a journal, a space for you to write your feelings and then what you're thinking, and it's also a worksheet in there for our mental mindfulness workshop where individual is able to identify their feelings. There's some space on there to create some rhymes, and there's also different inserts in there about different mental health diagnoses, depression, anxiety. It has different ways that you can cope with these illnesses and how you can live a pretty abundant life with having certain diagnoses of those. And then also it's helping you identify what it looks like in your peers and in yourself. So the
That is
workbook is
so
very useful. Hmm.
I love that. And I was like, yo, because I actually have a journal that I'm in the works. It's almost done. But it's for men because
Mhm.
I have a lot of clients that are men. So I was just like, we just needed something that they could go to. Women have a lot of self help things out here in the market, and I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes the fellas get left behind. So I was like, I felt like I needed to do that for them. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I'm loving the alignment. That is necessary. Uh,
It is definitely necessary. We also
it,
have a mental health children's book
oh,
called The Girl with the Scars, and we're coming out with one that's all about young men and young adults coming out soon. So I do want to encourage you guys to check that book out too. It's called The Girls with the Scars, and then our next book is dropping. I will release the title on our website www.mentalhealthmeetshiphop.com. And our books are co-created by individuals that have experienced mental illness, as a way to help other people that may be going through some of the same things, but may be unable to voice what's going on with them.
yes, it's super important, especially people that suffer from PTSD. Like that was one of my biggest things. I feel like, when you've been through the war, when you literally went through the war, you got the scars to prove it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't even like show your scars. And I call them beauty marks, and sometimes people don't really understand that, and if they're not in that space, and I don't expect them to, but people that are in that space, they understand, and you don't really got to say too many words. So that's why I try to place myself in surroundings of people that understand
Exactly.
exactly what you know what I'm saying,
Mm.
what she goes through, and how to deal with that because your environment is so important. So I have like these 8 pillars of life that is super important that I take with me and I put it into the mental health space. So the 8 pillars of life are just really like, financial, your environment, mental health, physical, just so much the alignment of your chakras. So I want to ask you, for people that may be suffering in their energy, what are some techniques that you have for them to get back in alignment with their chakras?
So the first thing I would say is meditate. Meditate, right? When it's a war going outside, go within, right? Sit in a calm and quiet space, take deep breaths, clear your mind. If you have cluttered thoughts, put it down on paper and breathe, right? Count back from 10 to calm down. I will also say journal, and also whatever is in your creative space, do that. Because a lot of times when we may be out of alignment, we are meant to be creators. So get into your creative space. Music and hip hop was my therapy, for a long time. But I say get into that creative space, get around people that can understand you. Reach out to different individuals. Yeah, and do
Yes,
affirmations. Hmm.
yes. We strongly to get with people that understand because a lot of people don't understand what is really like bipolar depression. They're going to clinically diagnose that, but what really causes that? You see what I'm saying? Like there's an
Exactly.
underlying, and sometimes, medical, they're going to give you the quote unquote the book. You know what I'm saying? But me here, I'm gonna give you the real. You like
Exactly.
I'm saying that shit ain't created by that. You see what I'm saying? A lot of stuff is created from men. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Like
sh- are you saying it in a way of like I'm trying to get what you say is created by
so
Batman as far as what?
by men, like men, like not like
Stress? You
men,
saying
like yeah,
stress?
this is like what I'm saying, like so say Albert Einstein, you see what I'm saying? Some stuff like that,
Okay.
like it's created through energy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mhm.
So I'm not even like, yeah, no men over there. No, I'm saying like it's created through the energy. And like people have learned to manipulate energy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They
Yep.
have mastered these things. Now that's why I said there's things I will talk about, but you know what I'm saying, you gotta do your own research. Not saying it, but I'm saying the audience, I want y'all to do your own research on it. You know,
Mhm.
there's so only so much, I could go into, but some things is just, it's here to control you.
Yeah, yeah, and I
It's
definitely
what it's
encourage, people,
doing. Like,
you have to study science and physics. You have to know that. You have to
yup,
study chemistry because there's so much stuff we got away from as a culture that we don't even have conversations about. We need
because
to be
we
having
scared of
conversations
it.
about
That
metaphysics.
man,
Yes.
I want us not to be scared of science, physics, our
Mm-hmm.
mathematics, our sacred geometry. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'm weary of going in there because people may not understand, but I want to open the floor up. So I'm glad that we even talking about this. You see what I'm saying? Like I've seen sacred geometry. My I'm a sacred woman. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So being a sacred woman is not being secretive. No, it's understanding my roots. Like I
Exactly.
really during the pandemic, I went through so much because I wanted to understand what my roots were. Where did I come
Mm-hmm.
from? What was my tribe? And the
Exactly.
universe started to show me, and now during that, is it going to be painful? Yes, because all that stuff is in your DNA. And
Yes.
and if you're healing that, it got to come out some way. It can't stay there. So it's going to hurt like hell. Your body going to hurt, your mind going to hurt, like everything is going, you're going to feel like you stuck and you can't move, and you
Yes.
gotta,
Yeah.
like, you just gotta push through, but don't push through where you're not showing up for yourself mentally. And I have this mental procrastination. I talked about it on last week. Mental procrastination is when you're stagnant. There's
Mm-hmm.
something that's trying to connect with you and you have not tapped into it. That's mental procrastination. So when we understand mental procrastination, there's something that you need to connect with. Something
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
something is wanting you to channel. Like how I say the channel and remote control. That's why I say the remote, because people always want to control you. No, hand me my remote control. Like,
Exactly. I
you
tell
know what I'm
people all
saying?
the time.
Yeah,
I say
give me
you
my
do have
stuff.
control. It's called the remote control, right? So
Yes, I'll
people,
keep my stuff back. Boo.
you got to turn it off. Hit the red button on the remote
Yes,
control. You got
yes,
all the
hit
control.
hit the button on them. Like, you gotta switch the stations sometimes. I don't know if
Mhm.
people ever seen that movie Frequency. Oh my god, I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. And when he had the like CB radio and he was able to connect with the other side of his past. Like these things are really real. Like I can energy
It,
it
it's real.
never
Mhm.
dies.
And you
Like,
know what? It's now it's coming back to the forefront of the conversation. But I think for such a long time, we're worried about, well, my phone, I have a cord, but it's connected to the Wi-Fi. My AirPods connected to the phone with no cord. So I just challenge people to know, understand who you are, understand that, as human beings, we carry a lot of energy and frequency, and the
yes.
most valuable resource is the human resource. So that's why it's so much programming going on, because you are the energy resource. So I just want to
Woo!
put that out there.
Come on. Yo, that was
Yeah,
a good one. You are the energy resource.
the most
Better
valuable.
call you
The
better push through with that, Miss Taty. Okay. You are the energy resource. Because we are not teaching our children about the importance of energy,
Mhm.
chakras, alignment. Like what music you listening to has a frequency. If you listening to, what is it, 438 megahertz, that's low vibrational. I
Mhm.
think I can't remember, but 520 or above is high vibrations.
Yeah,
uh
it's been frequencies banned in music, and
yes.
it's a lot of frequencies that the army use that can kill off a village, So it's so much with energy
Woo,
and frequencies, even
man.
back in the day when it was calling for wars, and how, the ancient tribes used to beat on the drums and things, communicating through sounds and waves. And then when you start to look at the rap industry or the hip hop industry, everything is programmed. So when you think of it, well, who's a part of this program? Why is the frequency so dark and desolate? Why is it a big, emphasis on the 808 drum that's vibrating your lower chakra, right? So we have to look at all these things and definitely know thyself.
Man, you just see, we got to do this because this is necessary. Did you hear the frequencies of a war? Of a war. If people don't
Hmm.
have to have a weapon. These frequencies are the weapon. Like, I'm like,
It is.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, these frequencies are the weapon. And I
Hypnotism.
want us to really like clear our energy. I actually did a meditation where I cut energy cords with the etheric. You feel me? I think that's
Mm-hmm.
how you pronounce it. But yeah, etheric, and I had to cut my energy cords on certain things that was not serving me. Like, there are certain things that will desires that will try to connect with you that you have no business being in. And
Mm-hmm.
when you notice it, you have to take heed to it. You have to address the situation. But I knew it was something because I couldn't get anything done. It was just someone was just really speaking to me. It was like drop everything and listen to what I got to say. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like, I did
Yeah.
though. But
Mm-hmm.
then after I snapped back up, it was like time to cut the cords.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you definitely gotta create boundaries and being
Yes.
able to identify and knowing things that's creating stumbling bricks in your way. Get rid of it. I mean,
Yep.
a lot of times it takes training to do that. It takes training to do that. But see, as human beings, we have always been programmed to think negative. So when you're automatically programmed to think negative, you're gonna need programming to start thinking positive. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing that I learned is affirmations. You have to tell yourself who you are. You have to look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are and how you're going to get through things. You have to channel out the noise, right? We call it noise. You have to channel out the outside and go within. Solitude. A lot of people, complained about the pandemic, but I think it was a universal call for solitude, right? Because once you can sit
Definitely.
still and know yourself, everything that you'll realize everything is already inside of you. All
Yep.
the answers you ever needed is inside of you. Everything is inside of you, and sometimes you just need other people there to, help you build that and hear the voice.
Man, that voice is loud. The noise
Hmm.
is loud. I'm telling
Hmm.
people, like, that's what I'm working on. I was like, what? It looks like I know you lying. It just was like, oh, okay. So it was like, this is what we gotta be, man. And then it's like, it's like having an enemy, and the enemy lives within you, but it's really you,
Hmm.
but it's not you. It's like your alter ego. It's like the war inside. So I called, like, my first episode was called War Inside because
Hmm.
I felt like there was a war, but it wasn't me that was trying to cause it. It was something that was trying to connect with me. It was somebody pissed off because we can't help what we like, who we like. And if people may feel like, well, it should be me, and if they have a little bit of authority or power, you know what I'm saying? They might try to dangle their power over you. You know what I'm saying? So are you
Yeah.
just like, yo, that's wild? But this
Yeah.
happens to people
It,
out
it,
of
it does
jealousy,
happen to you. Hmm.
spitefulness. We got to get out of that narcissistic behavior, and thinking that, women are obligated, especially in hip hop, to date men. Misogyny is very real in hip hop. So I want to really jump into that before we dip, because misogyny, huh?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about this subject in hip hop in particular? You can go all off, because I feel like we don't talk about this enough, about the sexism, about the, men thinking we supposed to worship the ground they walk on in this area.
Yeah, I mean, it's a touchy subject. You see it all over social media, and I just want to tell the people out there, you have to be able to identify the programming that's there to divide, right? So we know biologically, we know as a society, and as our ecosystem that we need each other. And it seemed like it's just a war with men against women, but
Yep.
it's like we gotta stop letting programming throw bones to us while we completely operate in chaos, right?
Oh
So
my
we
God.
we understand, it's a ego thing with men and women, but I think if we can come together and realize, hey, we both got differences, but we need each other, right?
We need each other. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to argue with you. I need you. Why? Why are you creating? And I know I need you. And I'm never prideful. I'm never thinking I'm better than anybody. I need you. Like King, I need you. I'm not ashamed to say it. And I want us, to really get into that space and starting to be more gentle, because life has really hardened a lot of people and a lot of women. I'm a
Hmm.
soft, gentle being. I was like, I don't need to be always fighting and arguing because I feel like we're being attacked, you know?
Exactly. And I mean,
Mhm.
you see it every day. It's a lot of, I really don't want to,
I know.
get in
I want
trouble
you
with
to
too much,
know this
but
is this why we gotta have this.
mhm.
Yes, we gotta go there. Like, trust me, I it's
But
like
well, I'm gonna say it, a lot of women, I'm
come
sorry,
on.
okay? But a lot of women, and not just women, right? Men and both, just human beings. So, operate in irrational behaviors and lead with a lot of emotions. And I think as me being a woman, I consider myself a goddess, as a queen. We are, more emotional and more tender when it comes to that. But when you think about Mother Nature and how everything is order in nature, right?
Yep.
You think about how a baby is born and a baby looks to the mother as God, right? It can only rise as high as the women rise, right? So
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, the masculation of the black man has to stop, right? I see it a lot. I see it coming from both angles, but I think as women, as goddess, as queens, we have to hold ourselves to that, right? Because we are um raising children. We're birthing the seeds, right? We
Yep.
take the seed in and we
Yep.
we birth a child. And sometimes it's okay to let that man lead. It's okay. But make sure that
Yes.
man
I
has a
I want
vision
my
and able to
king to
lead you
lead.
somewhere. Right. So feed that man vision, right?
Come on.
We multiply everything the man
Yes.
give us. But I'm gonna say, men, you have to give your woman something for her to make it grow. Right? You give us a seed, we give you a child. You give us a house, we give you a home, right? But we have to come together, right? We know it's a war on the melanated men out here. So, we just have to be on the side and say, we right here with you. It's no little eyes and
We
big ears.
riding with you. We
Right.
we ride with you. The wheels fall off, like all type of stuff. Like, yo, what's up? It's just like, because I love my brothers. I love my queens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the village got to be, it's coming together. I will say that. But unfortunately, sometimes you got to destroy things in order to rebuild it. But I
Hmm.
feel like that's not always necessarily true, because we've already destroyed so much. It's already, look at it. We don't need to
Yeah.
do that. Well, we just got to clean up. It's like, you remember
Yeah.
back in the day, you couldn't step was grass. You couldn't
Hmm.
throw trash out on their, you know what I'm saying, on their gates and all this stuff. We got to get back to that. We just got to clean up our space, love on each other, listen to each other, communicate. Don't be afraid to really let your significant other, friends, family, to know what's really going down within yourself or the situations in your career. Because, like, for you, like, you understand in your career what's going on,
Hmm.
but like you said, you've been doing it since you was 8. You feel me? So
Hmm.
you very much have a clear vision of where you want to go. And I want to ask you, where do you see hip hop meets mental health? Well, mental health meets hip hop. Where do you see that going? Um,
So I definitely see it as being an international pillar, a
mhm.
global way of expanding cultural equity throughout the world, a way for people to identify their equity and identify themselves in music, because hip hop is inclusion. That's why I use the term hip hop, not only because of the music, but because of the inclusion of the origins of hip hop. How was our stories? So if you can take mental health, right, and not categorize it, but to have people say, well, they may, because of what you said with it being man-made, with some people may say this is a mental illness, but some coaches will say, well, it's not. You just don't understand the culture. So I want to get to that, but I definitely see it as being a global pillar in schools throughout the world
Oh,
through
I love it.
to through businesses that need to understand culture and diversity. And, definitely some platforms and throwing some shows and things like that with different artists throughout the world. So let's get it.
Now, do you have a SoundCloud where people can hear your music? Definitely let them know how they can hear music, and I'll get some from you so you can play it too. In your
Mhm.
background, like we support 100% the people here because it's up to y'all. It's definitely for you. It's people like yourself, like really putting in the work. We
Yep.
want to highlight you as much as possible up in here.
For sure. So you guys can type me in on anything, mz.taty. Go check me out on YouTube and SoundCloud. Also check out www.mentalhealthmeetshiphop.com. If you know any youth or young adults, we have our workshops in the Gary Coleman Youth Center on the east side of Chicago. We work with different schools with CPS and also uh, businesses, small community businesses, and things like that. If you need us to come out, teach some culture and diversity, www.mentalhealthmeetshiphop.com. The office number is 312-470-0610 if you need anyone for therapy, referrals, or emotional coaching.
Love that. Now, I almost forgot to ask you. Now, would you recommend people stay away from and to eat more of dealing with mental illnesses?
I'm gonna say definitely sugars, things like that. Just the biochemistry level, sugar has the same effects as cocaine on the brain. Um, and I'm not gonna tell everybody to do it because I'm not. This not my best.
For real,
This
I
not.
know. I already know. Look, I'm
I
like that sugar and that cocaine, tell them drug, leave it alone.
Yeah, and then a lot of our workshops, we got some health gurus there. That is not my specialty, y'all, because I'm going down a journey with y'all. And I want people to know that mental
Yes,
health
me
professionals are
too.
not perfect. We are going through the journey,
Keep
and we're
going
right
through
there
it.
with you. But
Yes.
we have health coaches on our team, and they will advise you probably to stay away from anything from an animal because it creates mucus in the body, which in turn inflames your organs and cause disease. I didn't say I'm gonna have one of my health coaches. We gonna bring them on, okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
we want it. We definitely want to. We gonna do this again. Now, are you a non for profit?
So we are a for-profit mental health music hip hop LLC, but we do work under the umbrella of Just a Mile Away Mental Health Services, which is a 501 c3, a non-for-profit organization.
Yo,
So yep.
oh, we definitely got to talk outside of this podcast because there's so much like alignment. I'm loving it because I have not since I've really been in this space. I haven't been able to connect with people like in this realm. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay,
that was like I feel like finding your space
for
and
sure.
the universe will begin to align those people that you connect with because I deal with a lot of science and like prototypes that I'm building. So I have
Mhm.
these glasses that helps you virtually shop, but it does a lot more in your health and your mental health. So I've been in the development, but it's crazy because I'm like usually like the only black girl that that's in these rooms with people in presentations or whatever. And I was
Mhm.
like, yo, I definitely see the urgency. I definitely see why I'm here and why God has placed me in this space because there is no lane, there's no track, there's nothing. But not saying nothing, but I'm saying like we need more of us in this space.
Yeah,
And I feel like sometimes we're afraid to go where the unknown is, in tech,
yeah,
development, engineering, things of
yes,
that
yeah,
nature.
yes.
So I'm looking forward to it, embarking on my radio career. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been doing fashion for so long, but this is something that really just actually just end up landing. And I was like, oh well, I'll try it out. And now I
Mhm.
have a boom boom radio show. So I want to really, really connect with more Chicago artists and get them spin plays on the radio. Because
Let's
when
do
I
it.
was looking, I was like, yo, there's no female disc jockeys. Like that's really
Mhm.
like DJing, like Sean Mack, or you know what I'm saying, the Broadways. There is
Mhm.
none, like not like on that level of their career. And it definitely needs to be more of that. So that's why I feel like God has placed me here because I love music. I'm a songwriter. I do all
Mhm.
of those things. And he said, well, don't don't like sleep on yourself because you didn't know how to DJ or you didn't know how to produce.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because he will show you the way. You just gotta
Yeah.
apply yourself. And it's never too late for you, no matter how people may feel like life is done for them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, God has the last word. He wants you to share your gifts with the world. Don't hold them inside. What good is it if you're holding all of those gifts inside that He's giving you? You got to share your light. You got to share with people so you can continue to inspire them, you know?
Yes.
And that's why we
Yes.
here. I'm super excited for 2023. We about to really go crazy with it. I'm gonna get some of your music and I'm gonna spend it in around because, like I said, I'm getting into radio, boom boom
Mm-hmm.
radio show. You know,
Mm-hmm.
outside of the mental health, you know, I love music and I love getting carried away and lost in it. So
Yeah. And you know what, sis? I would love to have you out at the Gary Coleman Youth Center for one of our workshops. So you can come and show the youth what you do. I think it's very important. Like you said, I think it's very incredible to have us in spaces like these as we are out here. And it's even better when we unify, so
it's so much better. Like I help entrepreneurs scale their company. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom. Like I'm creating an app that's really helping people. Boom, you go to this app, help you right there. How to start your company, everything you need. Like it's
you gotta
super
come on,
important to
sis.
have the
Hmm.
resources and tools because knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. And I was just like looking at, if people are starting businesses and you want to know how to start a business, score.com is free. Or is it score.org? Something like that. But these things are free. There's so much free tools, financial literacy. Like I speak on that, like the financial literacy part on how to budget, how are we spending our money, the spending habits, what liabilities we need to get rid of. You know what I'm saying? Because those
Exactly.
liabilities can be a hindrance. Um,
Exactly.
so we
Hmm.
gotta really know where our money is going so we can profit and we can do more things that we want to do in the community. So Miss Taty, thank you so much. This was so good. I'm telling you, I was like, I knew there was a reason. I was like, yo. And he's like, no, you gotta connect. You have to connect.
So I'm definitely gonna tune in. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, if
You
you
know,
can't send me your company number or like a number, like I can really reach you because I really want to like connect with you. Because like I said, I've been coming out of this, this hiccup, and I've awakened into my greatness, and that sometimes don't look, it doesn't look quote unquote like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to other people. And I'm like, well, I'm not really here to satisfy what you think I should be doing with my life. I'm here for God's purpose and alignment.
exactly. And a lot
So,
of times you gotta tune out other people because
yes,
as
I
you on
took
your
really,
journey and as
yes.
you climbing up, you gonna hear a lot of stuff and you just gotta treat it like noise. Because
Yep.
the more and more you align with who you're supposed to be at, the more and more other energy is gonna come around and try to detour you from that. Because you got a powerful calling on your life, and it's energy and frequencies that don't want that to come out because it's gonna free so many people. So
Wow. Man, we need that free. Like, someday we all will be free, like a lot of people with the suicide. So definitely if anybody is ever suffering from suicide, please, the suicide prevention line, we recommend always here. If you need someone to talk to, you can reach out to either one of us, if you don't feel comfortable going there. So thank you so much, Miss Taty.
yeah.
So, guys, be sure to go follow her on Instagram. Make sure to put your Instagram, like say your Instagram, too on here so they can find you.
Okay, my Instagram is at mentalhealthmeetshiphop.com. And I do want to say National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, please dial 988. They have a three-digit number now, is 988. If you know anyone is thinking of suicide or if you're having those thoughts, call 988. That's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Come on, because baby, we need all of y'all. Like every life is precious. I've had people in my family, tried to commit it or have done it. And it's because, I don't know why, but I'm saying they don't make it feel like they don't have an outlet and they just want out of here because no one hears them. We hear you, we see you, we love you. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into Black Atmosphere and Company's Mental Health Space with Miss Taty from Mental Health Meets Hip Hop. It is super important for you guys to pay attention and really elevate. Be the change you wish to see.
Thank you, Trace.
Take care.